Hi, welcome to Digging Deep with Dan. There is a song that from time to time we will sing. It's entitled, Soldiers of Christ Arise. Verse 2 reads, Stand then in His great might, with all His strength endued, but take to arm you for the fight the panoply of God. The panoply. According to Merriam-Webster, panoply comes from the Greek word panoplia, which referred to the full suit of armor worn by hoplites, heavily armed infantry soldiers of ancient Greece. Panoplia is a blend of the prefix pan, meaning all, and hopla, meaning arms or armor. And you'll see the connection between hopla and the Greek hoplites. Panoply entered the English language, Merriam-Webster says, in the 17th century, and since then it has developed other senses which extend both the armor and the full set aspects of its original use. The panoply of God, the full or whole armor of God, is the subject of Ephesians 6, especially verses 12 through 17. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with the truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. Let's talk for a few minutes about this panoply, the whole armor of God. Surely as we're viewing this, we're viewing in our minds a soldier, perhaps that Roman soldier that probably would be the example that the Ephesians considered. The Ephesians would picture this Roman soldier, and they would see in this mental image, perhaps even just looking out of their windows, a soldier who would have a belt on. This was called the balteus, and that belt would have some material dangling from it, strips. These would be called the baltea. The purpose of the balteus and the baltea would be to provide strength and support for the lower back, to keep the rest of the armor in place, and also to give a convenient way to hold equipment. How does this fit as far as the Christian armor is concerned? Well, this baltea, this girding about the loins, was with truth. Truth is the center of the Christian's armor. It is his source of strength. 1 Peter 1:22, seeing ye have purified your souls in obeying the truth through the Spirit unto unfeigned love of the brethren, see that ye love one another with a pure heart fervently. Purified your souls in obeying the truth. That's at the center. And if that truth is compromised, all else fails. 1 John 3:18 and 19. My little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth. And hereby we know that we are of the truth, and shall assure our hearts before Him. Truth is at the center of the Christian's armor. Hebrews 10:26-27 continues that thought. For if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins, but a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversaries. When one has truth, he has all that he needs. 2 Peter 1:3. According to His divine power, hath given to us all that things that pertain unto life and godliness, through the knowledge of Him that hath called us to glory and virtue. The truth of God, which serves as our girding about of the loins, is found in His Word. The second part of this uniform, this armor, would be the breastplate, the lorica segmentata in the Roman soldier's outfit, the breastplate of righteousness. 1 Thessalonians 5:8, but let us who are of the day be sober, putting on, the word there is the breastplate of faith and love rather than righteousness, and for an helmet the hope of salvation. We'll return to that thought in just a few minutes. But the purpose of this breastplate was to protect the vital organs. Our righteousness, and this is a breastplate of righteousness, is to mirror the commanders. Now we mentioned that in 1 Thessalonians 5:8, it's a breastplate of faith and love. I would suggest those are tied very closely to righteousness. But Leviticus 11:44 and 45, we see the righteousness of God. In fact, He said, "Ye shall be holy, for I am holy." And our righteousness motivates further obedience. Luke 20, verses 7 and 8. "Sanctify yourselves, therefore, and be ye holy, for I am the Lord your God, and ye shall keep my statutes and do them. I am the Lord which sanctify you." In righteous obedience, with this breastplate of righteousness, we will be protecting our vital parts, protecting our hearts. Proverbs 4:23, "Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life." The next part of this panoply, this armor of God, is having the feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. These are the caligae that the Roman soldiers would wear. In fact, these sandals would often have cleats on the bottom, which would help to give the one who was fighting better traction. The purpose of these, according to Vincent, is to keep ourselves firm-footed, and that makes sense with those cleats that would be on the bottom of their sandals. But I would suggest having the feet shed with the preparation of the gospel of peace isn't just to remain firm-footed, it is to take the gospel to others. You see, the Christian has a twofold responsibility: to stand and to advance. The idea of standing is repeated throughout Ephesians 6:10 through 17. The idea of advancing is given in the Great Commission, Matthew 28:19 and 20, Mark 16:15 and 16. The Christian who is going to advance is going to have knowledge, 1 Peter 3:15, 2 Timothy 2:15. The Christian who is going to advance is going to have to show wisdom, Proverbs 11:30. In fact, in that passage, wisdom is tied to having the fruit of righteousness. But the fruit of the righteous, that verse begins, is a tree of life, if I remember correctly. And he that winneth souls is wise. Then we have the next aspect of this armor, and that is the shield of faith. This would be the Latin scutum that the Roman soldier would have. The purpose of that shield, which would be about waist high, it would have a slight curve in it, would be to deflect or intercept attacks, and he could unite with his fellow soldiers in defensive or even offensive positions. He might have room to get his sword around his own shield or between his shield and his neighbor's. But that idea of deflecting or intercepting attacks, Satan's attacks must be deflected. Faith is that which motivates action, fighting for victory, Hebrews 11:1 through 40. And this is a shield of faith, Galatians 5:6, faith which worketh by love. There must be unity in the faith of those who are so motivated, so that they can stand shield by shield by shield. Ephesians 4:5, they're all going to have the same faith, for there is one faith. Christian perfection is in the unity of faith. Ephesians 4:13, till we all come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ. And then on the head, the Roman soldier would have a helmet, the cassis or galea. This helmet in Ephesians 6 is the helmet of salvation. In 1 Thessalonians 5:8, it was the helmet, the hope of salvation. The purpose of the helmet is for protection of the head being the biblical heart. And it is also for identification. For example, sports helmets will identify what team one plays for, and a soldier's helmet may identify what rank he is, and most likely it's going to identify which side he's fighting on. We understand that some will refuse to wear helmets. It wasn't too long ago that hockey started requiring its players to wear helmets, and I remember the last person to go helmetless was a player named Craig McTavish. He was going to continue that old way, but he did so risking a danger that those who were wearing their helmets were not facing. The helmet of salvation. Salvation is a valuable necessity given only by Christ. Matthew 16:26. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Revelation 20:15. And whosoever was not found in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. Acts 4:12. Neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. And that takes us from the armor to the weapon, which is mentioned in Ephesians chapter 6, the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. The Roman soldier would have his gladius. The Christian soldier has his Bible. The purpose of this is to have a two-edged sword which can cut in two directions, inflicting mortal damage. Well, spiritually, for the dividing asunder of the soul and spirit. Hebrews 4:12. The Word of God is this spiritual sword. It has the ability to cut, Acts 5:33, Acts 7:54, but it also has the ability to prick, Acts 2:37. That's the Christian armor and the Christian weapon. But I would suggest there's something else not mentioned in Ephesians chapter 6, and that is a banner, an ensign, a flag under which the soldier is going to be fighting. In Psalm 60, verse 4, the psalmist wrote, Thou hast given a banner to them that fear Thee, that it may be displayed because of the truth. God has given a number of banners. These banners are not for vain parade or ostentation, not to support unrighteousness or injustice, but rather this banner is to show allegiance for the allies and to show the other side, the enemies, whose side we're on, to promote honor and cause, to promote the name of the leader, to promote the national agenda. Among these banners for the Christian are the love of God, Song of Solomon 2:4, the cross of Christ. We sing the song, There's a Royal Banner. That banner spoken of in John 12:32 and Romans 5:6-10. Isaiah 11:10-12 picture the church as the banner as well. There's so much strength, so much importance in that armor, but also in that for which we are fighting. May we take that armor on, lift our sword, and go to battle for the Lord.
This has been a presentation of GBN, the Gospel Broadcasting Network.